You may have been lied to for decades without even realizing it. Not because anyone wanted to fool you, but because these health beliefs were passed down from parents, neighbors, television shows, and even well-meaning friends. They sounded reasonable, so we accepted them as facts. But what if some of the advice you've trusted your whole life simply isn't true? What if spending money on certain foods or supplements isn't helping your body at all? And what if a few small changes could actually do far more for your health than the expensive products being advertised every day? That's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Tom Bennett, and I've spent more than 30 years helping older adults understand their health in practical, everyday ways. I've learned that some of the biggest improvements don't come from miracle cures. They come from letting go of old myths and replacing them with simple habits that truly work. So today, we're going to uncover 7 health myths that many seniors in the United States and Canada still believe. Some of these myths have been around for generations. Some are still being shared on social media today. And if you're over 60, understanding the truth behind them could help you make better choices for your joints, your digestion, your energy, and your overall well-being. Let's start with one that surprises almost everyone. People often say that drinking bone broth every day will rebuild worn-out joints. Maybe you've heard that yourself. Perhaps someone told you that because bone broth contains collagen, it can repair damaged cartilage in your knees or hips. It sounds logical. After all, if joints contain collagen, wouldn't eating collagen naturally rebuild them? Unfortunately, our bodies don't work that way. When you drink bone broth or take a collagen supplement, your digestive system breaks those proteins down into smaller pieces called amino acids. Your body then uses those building blocks wherever they are needed most. It doesn't automatically send them to an aching knee or a painful shoulder. Think of it like taking apart an old brick house. You can reuse the bricks, but they won't magically rebuild the exact wall that was damaged. Now, that doesn't mean bone broth is bad. In fact, it can be a comforting, protein-rich addition to a healthy diet. Many people enjoy it, especially during colder months. It may help increase overall protein intake and hydration. But there is no strong evidence that simply drinking bone broth can regrow cartilage or reverse arthritis. This is where many seniors become disappointed. They spend months faithfully drinking expensive broths or collagen products, expecting dramatic changes, only to find that their joints still hurt when they climb stairs or get out of bed in the morning. The truth is that healthy joints usually depend on many different factors working together. Keeping a healthy weight reduces stress on the knees. Staying active keeps muscles strong enough to support the joints. Eating enough protein throughout the day helps maintain muscle mass. Simple strength exercises improve balance and stability, and regular movement often does far more than sitting still and hoping a special food will fix the problem. I remember talking with a gentleman named Richard who was 73 years old. Every morning he proudly drank a large mug of homemade bone broth because someone at his local community center promised it would rebuild his knees. 6 months later he smiled and said, "Tom, I think my soup tasted better than my knees felt." What finally helped Richard wasn't another supplement. He started taking 20-minute walks most days of the week. He practiced gentle leg exercises recommended by his physical therapist. He lost a little weight, became more confident moving around, and gradually noticed everyday activities becoming easier. It wasn't magic, it was consistency. That's one of the biggest lessons I've learned after working with seniors for so many years. Our bodies usually respond better to simple daily habits than to miracle promises. And here's something worth remembering. Whenever you hear someone claim that one food alone can completely fix a health problem, it's wise to be skeptical. Health rarely works that way. Instead of looking for one magical solution, focus on patterns. Eat balanced meals, stay physically active, sleep well, keep your muscles strong, stay connected with family and friends, and work with your healthcare provider when ongoing symptoms need attention. Those habits may not make flashy headlines, but they are often the ones that help people stay independent and active well into their 70s, 80s, and beyond. Now let's move on to another health belief that has been shared for generations. When people experience heartburn or acid reflux, many immediately reach for a glass of milk. It feels soothing at first, but could that familiar remedy actually make the problem worse later on? The answer may surprise you. Let's talk about something almost everyone has tried at least once. You wake up in the middle of the night with a burning feeling in your chest. Or maybe you finish a big dinner and suddenly feel acid creeping up into your throat. Someone nearby says, "Drink a glass of milk. It'll settle your stomach." For a few minutes, it might even seem like it works. The cool liquid coats your throat and gives temporary relief. That's why this advice has been passed from one generation to the next. But here's the surprising part. For many people, especially those with acid reflux or frequent heartburn, whole milk may actually encourage the stomach to produce more acid later on. The fat in the milk can also slow stomach emptying, giving acid more opportunity to move upward into the esophagus. In other words, what feels soothing now may leave you feeling worse an hour later. That's why doctors today often recommend identifying the real triggers instead of relying on milk as a quick fix. For some people, the biggest trigger is eating too much at one meal. For others, it's lying down too soon after dinner. Coffee, alcohol, chocolate, peppermint, spicy foods, or high-fat meals can also make symptoms worse in some individuals. The good news is that simple lifestyle changes often make a meaningful difference. Eating smaller meals, avoiding late-night snacks, waiting 2 or 3 hours before lying down after eating, maintaining a healthy weight, and raising the head of the bed slightly if nighttime reflux is a regular problem. These changes may sound ordinary, but many seniors tell me they notice improvement after making just 1 or 2 of them. Now, another common belief involves what happens after a heavy meal. Have you ever heard someone say, "Drink a soda, it'll help your food digest"? Maybe it was cola, maybe ginger ale, maybe sparkling water. The logic seems simple. The bubbles make you burp, so people assume the drink is helping the stomach work better. But burping and better digestion are not the same thing. Carbonated drinks create gas in the stomach, which may temporarily relieve pressure by causing you to burp. However, they do not magically speed up digestion or break down food more efficiently. In fact, sugary soft drinks may increase bloating and discomfort for some people. Even diet sodas can cause extra gas because of carbonation. If your stomach feels overly full after eating, the better solution is often much simpler. Take a gentle walk around the neighborhood. Stay upright instead of lying on the couch. Drink water if you're thirsty. And next time, consider serving yourself a slightly smaller portion. Our digestive system likes consistency more than extremes. A short walk after dinner often does more for comfort than a can of soda ever could. I once met a retired school teacher named Linda, who always kept ginger ale in her refrigerator because she believed it helped digest large meals. One afternoon she laughed and admitted, "I thought the burping meant my stomach was getting healthier." Instead, she experimented with eating a little slower and stopping before she felt overly full. Within weeks, she found herself reaching for the soda less and less. Sometimes our bodies aren't asking for another drink. They're asking for a little patience. Now let's move on to another health myth that has become incredibly popular in recent years. You'll hear people say they need to sweat out the toxins. Whether it's sitting in a sauna, taking an extremely hot workout class, or wrapping themselves in heavy layers of clothing, many believe that the more they sweat, the more harmful substances leave their bodies. It sounds convincing, but is that really how the human body works? The answer is more interesting than most people realize, and understanding it may completely change the way you think about detoxes and sweating. Now let's tackle one of the biggest wellness trends of the past decade. How many times have you heard someone say, "I need to sweat out the toxins"? Maybe you've heard it at the gym, maybe from a friend who loves the sauna, maybe from an advertisement promising that one session will cleanse your body from the inside out. It's an appealing idea. You sit in a hot room, sweat pours down your face, and afterward you feel lighter and refreshed. So it must mean your body is getting rid of harmful toxins, right? Not exactly. Sweat is mostly water, along with small amounts of salt and other minerals. Its primary job is to cool your body and help regulate temperature. The real heavy lifting is done somewhere else. Your liver acts like an incredible processing center, breaking down substances your body no longer needs. Your kidneys filter your blood around the clock, removing waste products and sending them out through urine. These organs work every single day without you even thinking about them. If you're sweating because you're exercising, that's wonderful. Physical activity has many health benefits for older adults. But the benefit comes from moving your body, strengthening your heart, improving circulation, and building muscle, not from sweating out toxins. In fact, sweating too much without replacing fluids can lead to dehydration, especially in older adults who may not feel thirsty as easily. If you enjoy a sauna and your healthcare provider says it's safe for you, there's nothing wrong with relaxing in one. Just don't expect it to perform miracles. No amount of sweating can replace healthy eating, regular exercise, or proper medical care. That brings us to another trend that has exploded in popularity: vitamin IV drips. Walk through many cities today and you'll see wellness clinics advertising intravenous infusions that promise energy, immunity, younger-looking skin, or better overall health. Some people pay hundreds of dollars for a single session. The advertisements make it sound as though vitamins delivered directly into your veins will transform your body overnight. But for most healthy people, That's simply not how nutrition works. If you eat a balanced diet and your body absorbs nutrients normally, it already does an excellent job of taking vitamins from food and using what it needs. Many water-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin C and several B vitamins, are not stored in large amounts. When your body has enough, much of the excess is simply eliminated through urine. That doesn't mean vitamin IV therapy is never appropriate. Certain medical conditions, severe deficiencies, digestive disorders, or hospital treatments may require intravenous nutrition under professional supervision. But for the average older adult hoping for a shortcut to better health, the evidence for routine vitamin drips is limited. The simpler, and often far less expensive approach, is to focus on daily habits. Colorful fruits and vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, adequate sleep, regular movement, and staying socially connected. Those habits support your body every single day. I remember meeting a woman named Carol, who proudly told me she had started getting monthly vitamin infusions because she wanted to feel 20 years younger. After several months, she admitted she hadn't noticed much difference. Then she started walking with a neighborhood group 3 mornings each week. She began sleeping more consistently, cooking at home more often, and spending less time sitting in front of the television. A few months later, she smiled and said, "I finally have more energy, and it didn't come from the IV." That's often how healthy aging works. The biggest improvements usually come from small decisions repeated over and over again. Now let's look at another product that made bold promises and convinced thousands of people that healing could happen while they slept. Detox foot pads. You may have seen them advertised online or in catalogs. The instructions are simple. Place adhesive pads on the bottom of your feet before bed. Wake up in the morning and discover that the pads have turned dark brown or black. The advertisement proudly claims those dark stains are toxins that have been pulled out of your body overnight. It sounds amazing. But there's a much simpler explanation. The color change is usually caused by moisture from your feet interacting with the ingredients in the pad and the surrounding air. In other words, sweat and normal chemical reactions, not dangerous toxins leaving your body. Scientists have found no convincing evidence that these products remove harmful substances through the skin. That doesn't stop clever marketing. After all, seeing a dark-colored pad in the morning makes people feel as though something dramatic has happened. But appearances can be misleading. Our bodies already have highly effective systems for removing waste products. The liver, the kidneys, the digestive tract, the lungs. Together they work continuously without requiring expensive patches or miracle gadgets. And finally, there's one more nutrition myth that has been repeated for generations. Many people believe that spinach alone is the perfect cure for low iron. You may even remember cartoons where eating spinach instantly made someone stronger. But the real story is a little more complicated, and understanding it can help seniors make smarter choices about preventing iron deficiency and maintaining healthy energy levels. Before we finish today, I want to ask you a simple question. How many of these myths did you believe? Maybe it was 1, maybe it was 3, or maybe you've been following some of them for decades. If so, please don't feel embarrassed. The truth is, almost all of us have believed health myths at some point in our lives. Information changes, science evolves, and sometimes advice that sounded reasonable years ago doesn't stand up to newer research. The important thing isn't whether you were wrong in the past. The important thing is that you're willing to learn something new today. I often tell seniors that healthy aging is like steering a large ship. You don't have to make a dramatic turn all at once. Even a small adjustment in direction can lead to a completely different destination over time. Instead of chasing miracle cures, try asking yourself these questions each morning. Did I move my body today? Did I eat enough nourishing foods today? Did I drink enough water? Did I get enough rest? Did I spend time with people who make me smile? Those simple habits may not go viral on social media, but they have helped millions of people live longer, healthier, and more active lives. Another thing I've noticed over the years is that many seniors underestimate the power of muscle. People often focus only on vitamins or supplements while forgetting that strong muscles help you climb stairs, carry groceries, maintain balance, and recover after illness. Even gentle strength exercises, using your own body weight or light resistance bands, can make a remarkable difference over time. And don't underestimate walking. A comfortable daily walk supports your heart, your mood, your balance, and even your brain health. You don't have to walk 5 miles. Sometimes 10 or 15 minutes after a meal is a wonderful place to start. Healthy aging isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. There will be days when you eat dessert, days when you skip exercise, days when you don't sleep very well. That's normal. Don't let one imperfect day become an excuse to give up. Just return to your healthy habits the next day. I've met people in their 70s who decided it was too late to improve their health. Then they started taking short walks, preparing simpler home-cooked meals, and staying socially active. A year later, many of them told me they felt stronger, more confident, and more independent than they expected. Small changes really do add up. So as you leave today's conversation, I hope you remember this. Be curious. Ask questions. Don't believe every headline or every advertisement. And most importantly, don't underestimate what your own body can achieve when you care for it with patience, consistency, and common sense. Your future health isn't built by one miracle product. It's built by the everyday choices you make, one day at a time. Let's finish with one last myth that has fooled people for generations. How many times have you heard someone say, "If you're low on iron, just eat more spinach"? There's a reason this belief became so popular. For decades, spinach was celebrated as the ultimate strength food. Cartoons made it seem almost magical. Parents encouraged children to eat it so they would grow stronger and healthier. And to be fair, spinach is an excellent vegetable. It's packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and plant compounds that support overall health. I encourage people to include it in their meals whenever they enjoy it. But here's what many people don't realize. The iron found in spinach isn't absorbed by the body as easily as the iron found in foods like lean beef, turkey, chicken, seafood, or other animal-based sources. Spinach also contains natural compounds called oxalates, which can reduce how much iron your body actually absorbs. So if someone is truly iron deficient, simply eating a large bowl of spinach every day may not solve the problem. A better approach is to eat a variety of iron-rich foods, and when appropriate, pair plant-based sources with foods rich in vitamin C. For example, adding strawberries to a spinach salad, squeezing lemon juice over cooked greens, or serving vegetables with bell peppers or citrus fruit may help improve iron absorption. And if you're feeling unusually tired, weak, short of breath, or dizzy, don't assume the answer is just to eat more spinach. Talk with your healthcare provider. A simple blood test can determine whether iron deficiency is actually the issue, because many different conditions can cause similar symptoms. That's an important lesson that applies to almost every health myth we've discussed today. The body is wonderfully complex. There are very few one-size-fits-all solutions. So let's quickly review what we've learned. Bone broth can certainly be part of a healthy diet, but it won't magically rebuild worn-out joints. Milk may briefly soothe heartburn, yet for some people it can make reflux symptoms worse later. Carbonated drinks don't improve digestion simply because they make you burp. Sweating is your body's cooling system, not its primary detox program. Expensive vitamin IV drips aren't a shortcut to vibrant health for most people who already eat well. Detox foot pads don't pull dangerous toxins out through your feet. And while spinach is nutritious, it's not a miracle cure for iron deficiency. If there's one message I hope you take away from today's conversation, it's this. Don't let clever marketing or old family stories replace common sense and good evidence. Healthy aging rarely depends on one miracle food, one supplement, or one trendy treatment. Instead, it comes from hundreds of small choices repeated day after day. Taking a walk even when you don't feel like it. Choosing water instead of another sugary drink. Cooking a balanced meal at home. Getting enough sleep. Keeping your muscles active. Laughing with friends. Managing stress. And staying curious enough to keep learning. I've seen people in their 80s make simple lifestyle changes and feel more energetic than they did in their late 60s. Not because they found a secret, but because they focused on the habits that truly matter. So the next time someone tells you, this one food will fix everything, pause for a moment, ask questions, stay open-minded, and remember that your body deserves thoughtful care, not empty promises. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm Tom Bennett, and I truly appreciate you being here. If even one of these myths surprised you, consider sharing this conversation with a friend or family member. You never know whose life might become a little healthier because of one simple truth. Until next time, take good care of yourself, keep moving, keep learning, and remember that it's never too late to make a positive change.